Hey, and good morning. Welcome back to what is, after watching a little bit of that time-lapse action, my tinfoil covered relief setup, which was inspired by the Great Wave of Kanagawa. So this is bringing you to a place where I was maybe about a few weeks ago, where we were able to use the homemade clay, prep it on the cardboard, allow it to dry and sit for a good while. I didn't mess with it for a while. I instead, in the in-between, I crafted this up by creating relief with my glue gun. So I was able to kind of get a sense of what this project was going to become, or maybe not. And I just wanted to offer you today just a sense of where I'm going from here. And then I'm going to switch it over to just you watching me paint, time-lapse style, so you don't have to hear me yapping. But my starting point today for you guys to consider, and I did attach this, analogous or like your best friend colors. They all live next to each other on the color wheel, so I selected those. And I also, although this was my inspiration, I'm gonna totally ditch the color scheme here that was, and go a totally different route. I am gonna incorporate white, which is a neutral color. Might even incorporate a little bit of black. I might add a little black to my colors, or a little white to my colors to give them that tint and shade. We'll see as I go. Again, there's no right answer here. You guys decide it. And if you're making this happen, obviously you want it to come from you in terms of what you have available. And like I mentioned previously, Sharpies are also a great coverage to a surface like this. You can try regular markers. You can try the use of, I don't know. What else you got out there? I don't know. You try stuff. You prove me wrong. You experiment with this in a totally different capacity. I'm happy if you're just creating. So I'm just going to leave you from here just to show you how I prep my palette if you are a painter. This is an old palette, by the way, so you don't have to keep finding cardboard. Totally dry, obviously. So I'm flipping it over so that I can have a little bit of a clearer understanding of what my colors are all about. I am gonna establish, this is called red oxide, a little bit more of a brownish tinge to it. I have a magenta here, a little bit more brightness to that color, so I'll throw that down there. I'm gonna make my own miniature wheel so that I have the colors placed around orange, as you can see, and my yellow is drying out on me, so there it is. My water, my brushes, all that good stuff is gonna be here. In this container, I have some white, so I'm probably gonna drop it right in the center here so that when I start mixing and using my palette, obviously it will eventually look like this, all mixed up and messy, but I can just pull from these colors, which are my analogous color scheme, which I think I'm gonna stay with. I don't think I'm gonna really deviate too much from that. You change as you go, but again, to start out with a color scheme kind of isolates you to just kind of being concentrated on a certain palette so that you can shift from there, darks and lights, and not get overburdened and busy your artwork too terribly much with colors that might not belong, so to speak. But I'm not even gonna get so much into that. Obviously, you can see here kind of a monochromatic color scheme, you know, more blues, dark blues, light blues, your whites, and then the neutrals, the browns, the grays, all of that in the background. This is gonna be a very abstract piece. A little shout out to Javez, because he did mention he likes when things are just, there's no really rules involved, and I appreciate that as well. So I am gonna go that route a bit more with this, and so I wish you the best of luck, and I can't wait to see what you come up with, because I'd love to showcase your good stuff, because so far you've been doing an incredible job. So keep it up, talk soon, be well.